Hey everybody, Jonathan here with DroneAcademy.com, and I want to take a couple minutes to look at this picture of what appears to be the Mavic 2. Now, if you've been on the internet at all in the past couple days and you've been following along, you know that yesterday DJI sent out a notice to all of its invitees saying that it was going to postpone its announcement that was scheduled for July 18th. Now, at this announcement, they were going to release the Mavic 2, or so we're led to believe. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about the specs of this aircraft, but we don't know anything for certain. We've heard a 1-inch sensor, we've heard a 1 by 2.3 inch sensor, we've heard a 1 by 1.7 inch sensor, but nobody really knows yet. That's why everybody was so excited for DJI's See the Bigger Picture event on July 18th. But now that's going to be postponed. We don't know when that's going to be. But what we do know is that there were a lot of very frustrated and upset drone enthusiasts all over the internet yesterday. And today, in what could almost be seen as throwing all those loyal fans a bone, we get this picture, which appears to be the new Mavic 2 in the wild. So I want to dig into the picture just a little bit, take a look at, see if we can find any details about what we might expect in the future from DJI. So the most obvious thing you see here in the front is the brand new sensor. Now that looks pretty large. Some are suggesting that that's the 1-inch sensor off the Phantom 4 Pro, but we don't know just yet. But what we do know is over here, if you look, there's a smaller camera sensor as well that seems to be attached to a gimbal. Now it could be that that's the 1-inch and the 1 by 1.7 inch smaller sensor. We don't quite know yet, but we'll come back to that in just a second. So the next thing I did notice is if you look at this, it looks like a rectangular opening that may closely match the base of that gimbal, almost as if that gimbal could be slid into the drone itself. So we could be looking at a GoPro Karma-esque type situation here where you can actually remove the gimbal and carry it around on a handheld. And that would be neat because you could actually maybe apparently have different size sensors. Another neat thing over here, obviously DJI is continuing on with the removable joysticks on the controllers, which is a great thing to see. I love that. Interestingly enough though, something you don't see in this picture is the rear legs of the aircraft. Now, it could just be that they're not there or they're hidden behind the front legs. But earlier today, one of our readers actually suggested something that's highly unlikely, but an interesting thought nonetheless. They sent me an email suggesting that this aircraft might only have 2 propellers. This isn't unheard of in aviation. Obviously, if you've ever seen a V-22 Osprey, you know that's possible. But I think in this case, it's highly unlikely. So as for things you'd expect, you see the front collision avoidance sensors, and you can assume that those will be on the side and bottoms as well. Now, one thing to note over here is you see the Mavic 2 markings with the silver band. Now, some have very specifically noted that this says Mavic 2 and not Mavic Pro 2. This suggests that there could be 2 tiers, both the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Pro 2. Now, those of you who have followed DJI in the past know that they tend to use gold bands or gold markings for a pro level aircraft and silver for a lower level. It could possibly be that the gimbal and sensor on the left hand side of the screen could be the default for this aircraft and they're testing out something else. Now over here you can barely see on the edges. Some people have said that they think that might be an obstacle avoidance sensor. I think more likely that it's just the lighting system, since that's where it is on the Mavic Pro as well. Now before we go, I want to pop back over and take a quick look at what appears to be that handheld gimbal there on the left hand side of the screen. 2 things that I noticed on it is, one, that it has or appears to have an LCD screen there at the top, and 2, that it has a lightning connector attached to it. Now, while the lightning connector does suggest that it connects to a phone, I don't see a phone mount anywhere, and that device honestly seems a little bit small to mount a phone to it, so I'm not quite sure how that works just yet. But like I said, there does appear to be an LCD screen, so it could be a self-contained handheld gimbal with a screen built in for framing shots, in which case that would be a pretty neat deal, especially if it comes as part of the aircraft package. So there we go, that's the image. Now we don't know yet if this is a legitimate image or if it's a Photoshop. Obviously we can't validate the authenticity just yet, but it does look convincing. So what do you think? Is this the aircraft? Is this a hoax? What does that handheld gimbal have to do with anything? Or did we just flat out miss something in the image? Let us know in the comments below.